Welcome. My name is Peter Strong. I'm a professional online psychotherapist and I provide psychotherapy via Skype. So if you're looking for Skype psychotherapy online, I do encourage you to read more of the pages on my website, watch some of the videos about Skype therapy, and reach out to me if you have any questions or if you would like to schedule Skype therapy with me. Skype therapy is an excellent opportunity to get quality help to overcome anxiety and depression, but without having to go to see a therapist in an office. Many people really prefer the convenience of online therapy and also the greater privacy and anonymity that is offered by online therapy. This is very important if you're dealing with difficult emotional problems like depression or addiction, or if you're suffering from agoraphobia, then it becomes essential to look for an online therapist to help you overcome your agoraphobia. I see a surprising number of people with driving anxiety, with a phobia of driving, which of course greatly limits them and makes it very difficult to go and see a therapist for treatment for driving anxiety. There are lots of reasons why people like online therapy, but perhaps the most important thing is that it feels more comfortable for you. It's really important that you feel comfortable and are able to do the detailed and very personal work needed to bring about the healing of your anxiety or depression or other emotional problems. So that's really the focus of mindfulness therapy, which is what I teach on Skype. Mindfulness therapy teaches you how to totally change the relationship that you have with your emotions, to really change the relationship from one that is reactive and that simply feeds the anxiety or depression, to a relationship that's based on consciousness and compassion, the two primary elements of mindfulness. So when you can change that internal psychological relationship to one that allows you to be present with your anxiety or depression or other emotions and not react to them, then you create the ideal conditions for healing. In fact, if you can stay totally present, totally mindful with your emotional pain, then those emotions will heal by themselves as a direct result of that quality of conscious, mindful presence, if it's based on the qualities of consciousness and compassion. So one analogy that I often use to help explain this transformational effect of mindfulness is to look at anxiety or depression or even emotional trauma as being like a fire. Now, what keeps a fire alive is when you feed it with more fuel. It depends on that fuel to keep burning. But when you take the fuel away from a fire, then what happens to it? It extinguishes itself. It goes on a path of burning itself out quite naturally. So you could say that the fire is destined to heal. itself. It's destined to resolve itself, to extinguish itself. What keeps the fire alive is those processes whereby fuel is piled onto that fire. Well, emotions are the same way. They are like that fire. When you stop feeding them through blind habitual reactive thinking and reactivity based on avoidance and hatred for those emotions, when you stop doing that, the emotions also resume their path of healing. That path of healing is already built into the anxiety and depression. It is trying to heal itself. But what stops it healing is reactivity, blind habitual reactivity, the way that we get lost in reactive thinking, the way that we get completely identified and therefore overwhelmed by the emotion. So that's what we call reactive identification. So whatever the identification is, whatever the reactivity is, it ends up feeding that emotion and stops it healing. But you take away the reactivity, the emotion will resume its natural path of healing. Another analogy to think of here is to look at the emotional suffering as being like a wound. Again, a wound naturally heals itself if it is allowed to do so. Those mechanisms of healing are a natural part of the body. It's the same for the mind. Emotional wounds will heal if we stop reacting to them. We look at them like an emotional wound. That wound is already destined to heal itself once we stop reacting. So the key principle behind mindfulness therapy is to learn how to stay present and develop this conscious, compassionate presence that is not reactive, that does not feed the anxiety or depression. The more you cultivate that, the faster the healing. Then if you start to develop internal compassion on top of that and start to interact with your emotions in a way that helps them heal, if you learn how to comfort your inner fear, your inner hurt, that will accelerate healing even more. So that's the response of compassion, which is very much a part of mindfulness therapy. We learn how to respond compassionately to our own emotional wounds. So if you'd like to learn more about this approach to psychotherapy using mindfulness, and you like the convenience of Skype Therapy, then do please contact me and let's schedule a Skype Therapy session. So Skype Therapy is very effective. You don't need to be in the same room as a therapist. You do need to see each other. And of course that is what Skype allows. It allows you to see each other. And that makes it as effective as being in the same person, the same room as the therapist. So if you'd like to learn more and you'd like to schedule some Skype therapy sessions with me, or if you have questions you would like to ask, please go to my contact page and email me. Thank you.